This is a demo of TRACEABILITY Studio where I have connected three different traceability projects. I will focus on this one, the Temperature Warrior. So a project in TRACEABILITY Studio consists of a series of different documents. Those documents could be of different nature, and those documents are connected through traceability modules. So what you see here in this screen are those boxes representing documents and the arrows representing the modules, meaning that we can have a connection between goals in a statement of work, like in here, connected to stakeholder requirements in a cell, connected to system requirements indoors, risks for those system requirements, also in Excel, traces to models in Capella, subsystems indoors and those next generation, test cases also in Excel, more subsystems, simulation in Simulink for a particular subsystems, and the tests for these subsystems also in Excel. So this is the structure of the project, right? A connection to a wide variety of other types of elements like Polarion, Team Center, Cameo, Capella, Enterprise Architect. All this is possible with the tool. Now, these are all the different 12 traceability modules between the different elements conforming this project. I will show you how easy first is to establish traces between two elements. In this particular case, there are already a number of different traces between these two documents. There are 7 goals in this Word document and 65 stakeholder requirements. Not all the goals are properly traced towards the stakeholder requirements, so you can very easily just open the traceability panel. In this case, both sources are file sources, so that is Excel and Word, so there is no need for credentials, so I can just open. And these are just the elements in one side in the in the Word document that has been configured just to extract those paragraphs that are including the goals. And here the stakeholder requirements in Excel, right? Creating a new trace is as simple as this goal is speaking about this demanding some documentation. So I can just look for those stakeholder requirements dealing with documentation. You can sort and filter only the ones that has no traces, and then you can establish a trace just clicking the source, the target of the trace, and in this case there is only one possible type of trace for this document. So you just establish the trace, and then you have the trace properly created. Sorting by date, you have the trace created, right? So following block, I will show you this module. There are no traces at all, and I will ask the tool to identify traces for me. There are different algorithms implemented, plus some others that you can implement on your own. For this module, I have different types of traces like flow down. Flow down are requirements that are affecting the same to the system and to the subsystems, right? Like regulation and some others. So you can ask the tool, please find for me those requirements that are just flow down from one level to the other. Important to mention that there is no need for those requirements to be exactly literally the same. So in this case, the competition should take place in an environmental temperature between 7 and 22 Celsius. The competition shall be performed and not should take place. But the tool knows that shall and should are, in this case, meaning the same, and to be performed and to take place are synonyms in the ontology. So this is why these two requirements are identified as exactly the same meaning. So I can accept the suggestion, right? For the second one, the second suggestion, it is between the temperature warrior shall be compliant with whatever regulation. In here, the subject is not the temperature warrior, the subject is the control system, but this tool is connected to the modeling tool. In this case, sorry, in this case, this is a Capella model, and this Capella model is telling me that there is a PBS relationship, the composition relationship between the temperature warrior and the control system, and that's why the tool identifies a similarity of 100% between these two requirements. So this trace is fully relevant, and then I will accept this trace. Following type of trace that could be automatically discovered by the tool are allocation traces. In this case, my algorithm to detect allocation traces is here. It is based again in the information on the ontology. So I have configured the tool to request a type of term, like or a type of concept in the ontology, like my properties, the weight, the budget, the power consumption, and so on and so forth. And again, I say to the tool, please follow the PBS, right? Now the tool has identified another two possible traces. Let us check what is inside. So the first suggestion is a suggestion to link the weight of the temperature warrior, which is the name of the full system, shall be less than 50 kilo, and the control system weight could be 450 grams, right? So again, there is a relationship between these two elements, the temperature warrior and the control system, and both are speaking about, of course, a different value, but are speaking about the same property, the weight. So this is why I consider that there should be this allocation trace created. So I accept the suggestion, and I move forward to the following one, which is very similar, but in this case is speaking about the power consumption. The maximum power consumption installed in the temperature warrior shall be inferior to 4000 watts. The control system, the child of the temperature warrior, power consumption shall be 1 watt. Well, I don't know if this is enough or not, but I accept the suggestion. Right? More methods to suggest traces. So for instance, I can apply this other method. In fact, most of those methods are requesting some parameters, meaning that I can implement exactly the same method with different parameter with different results, right? In this case, I'm configuring this method with a pattern. This pattern is just representing the condition of a requirement, the condition based on the system being in a particular mode, right, or state or mode. And then I want the tool to identify couples of requirements in source and target document with this block at the beginning of the requirement, and where the mode that is referenced is exactly the same. So I want my requirements to match this pattern and to take a value of type state, which is the same left and right. And only on those cases, I want the suggestion. So I click OK. And again, two new traces are identified. In this particular case, I think the type should be derive. I made that mistake, but I can change it here to derive. And I can check when the temperature warrior is in ready mode, and this one says when the control system, the child, is in ready mode, so the mode is the same, right? And of course this is the condition of the requirement, so I accept the suggestion, and of course I accept the change of the type. And for the other suggestion, I also change from allocation, allocates to derives, and it's a different mode, but it is again the same. So two requirements starting with the same structure when the element is in a specific mode, and the mode is the same in both. So this is why the tool is suggesting these two to be connected, right? So one more method to discover traces, let's put it in derivation. It could be, for instance, for the allocation of functions, right? These two documents are connected to Capella, and in Capella I have identified a number of different functions and sub-functions. This is represented in this FBS. And the same for the structure of the components, you know, the temperature warrior, the control system, the power system, the actuators, and so on and so forth, right? So I will demand the tool to find those requirements, those functional requirements in the left, speaking about a specific high-level function, and a requirement in the right, speaking about a sub-function that is performed for one of the subsystems in the PBS. Right. So in such a case where the structure is the correct one according to the PBS, and also the function is referring to the sub-function, then I will ask the tool to give me a suggestion. So I click OK, and now I have two more derivation suggestions. In my particular case, the function of the configuration of the round parameters is including three specific functions, but only two of those functions are performed within the control system. This is why I have only two suggestions, right? So the temperature warrior shall configure the round parameters, and the control system shall validate, which is a child in the FBS, is a child, to validate the round parameters. So I accept this trace. And the same for the other one is the same source parameter. The temperature warrior shall configure the round parameters, but the target now is safe. So I have two of the three sub-functions are mentioned in this link module. So this is why the tool is suggesting all this, right? Of course, we have plenty of other possibilities here, including, for instance, just a kind of semantic search engine. So clicking here, you can configure this search engine, and you can go to the semantic configuration, and you can spec traces that are not between elements that are not fully equivalent from a semantic standpoint, but somehow related somehow. This level between 0 to 100% is meaning the more if I select 100%, I will be looking for requirements that are fully equivalent, fully synonyms. If I open and select something like 80%, then some other couples of requirements will appear, even if they are not fully equivalent, but at least they will be speaking about the same concepts, the same actions, the same states, or something similar, right? It is a little bit less control than the previous methods that we have been executing, but however, they could also still offer some good options and save valuable time for the engineers. So I put just the similarity in a value of 80, execute my semantic retrieval, and then I have 17 suggestions that of course I will have to review one by one, but chances are for some of them to be valid, interesting couples of elements to be linked or not. Of course, this has to be decided by you, the engineer, but at least the tool is offering you all those possibilities. So that's all for this demo. Thank you very much. Bye.